Hello, beautiful peaches. Welcome to the Macros, Metabolism, and Motivation Beautiful Peach Podcast. I'm your host, Caitlen, a reverse diet expert, sustainable fat loss nerd, and food freedom lover. After healing my own mind, body, and metabolism from the icky, restrict, binge, food guilt cycles, I became obsessed with helping other women do the same. I spent 6 years getting my bachelor's and master's degrees in all things nutrition, dietetics, and metabolism health, go Clemson Tigers, in order to start a science-backed, never cookie-cutter, always customized online macro and reverse diet coaching business. I have supported over 3,500 incredible women in their journey to endless results, and I am so excited to help you do the same. In this podcast, I will be teaching you how to break up with the yo-yo diet cycles, tips and tricks to heal your metabolism through reverse dieting. I will be giving away my sustainable weight loss secrets, all without you having to give up a single food you love. So if you're ready to rediscover that self-love and truly become the most confident, beautiful peach possible, grab a pen and a piece of paper, bump up your volume just a little, and let's dive right in. And don't forget to snag your completely free high-protein macro cookbook. All you need to do is submit a quality 5-star rate and review on this podcast, then fill out the form in the show notes so I know exactly where to send your cookbook. This will actually also automatically enter you into the weekly macro calculator giveaway. Every week, I give away a copy of my C. Schmidt macro calculator to one lovely, beautiful peach who has left an awesome 5-star rate and review on this podcast. The winner is announced every single week in my email newsletter email list, as well as my Instagram story. You can't miss it. So leave that 5-star rate and review, and I will see you in the episode. What is up, my beautiful, beautiful peach? I am so excited for today's episode. I'm going to be talking all about, should you track macros if you feel you simply do not have enough time? And it is very, very likely that if you are choosing to listen to this episode, you are maybe a busy mom, working professional, taking care of your family, maybe running around all the time, doing everything for everyone else, trying to balance a social life, trying to balance it all. So quite often, taking care of you gets put on the back burner, but you also really want to see results. So you are probably listening to this saying, hey, I want to see results. I think I want to track macros, but maybe I'm not sure if I should. I don't have a lot of time. How do macros fit into my life if I don't have a lot of time? I am super excited about this episode. I have a lot of information, so I do not want to delay any longer. Let's dive on into episode 138. Should you track macros if you don't have enough time? If you find yourself wanting to see results but not having a lot of time, the problem here is you need something that fits naturally and sustainably into your life. Because a lot of times when we are, like myself, very, very, very busy bodies, it can be very easy to put taking care of ourselves on the back burner. And the problem with this is it doesn't really make us feel too good. A lot of times we can find ourselves at the gym tearing ourselves apart while comparing ourselves to other women, or not even making it to the gym or to that home workout. We end up a little bit more cranky because we don't feel good. Overall, it impacts our entire life around us. We tear ourselves apart when we are trying on clothes. We are not feeling good in our body. We're lashing out at our friends and our family. And internally and overall, our quality of life has just gone down a little bit. We didn't mean to lash out. We didn't mean to, be cranky, but we're just being a little bit high strung. And you might relate to this. I say all of these things because I have been in that space in the past. I have gone through all of those pieces. And it's funny, sometimes I giggle to myself because I have women who will tell me, they're like, Caitlen, you are repeating exactly how I feel. And I'm like, I hear you. I have been in your shoes. I get it. That's why I know how deeply, how deep, those struggles go. It's not just a surface level, I don't feel good. It's a I'm thinking about food 24/7. I am thinking about my body 24/7. I tear myself apart when I wake up, when I go to bed, when I look in the mirror. I am comparing myself all the time. And it is, I spent years trying to navigate the hardships that come with body image problems that don't just disappear. I think what's important to note with body image problems is there will always be good and bad days, but it's a matter of finding the love in yourself. And when you do have those bad body image days, learning to navigate that with beauty and with ease and with that self-love. And I think something on top of this too is I spent so many years trying to navigate the body image problems, but it goes so much deeper because it's learning to try and navigate a negative relationship with food, to navigate a lack of self-worth, to honestly navigate all of these things with not a lot of time, thinking the only way to get results, the only way to heal my body, the only way to finally love myself or finally lose the weight or finally heal my metabolism is if when I have this XYZ amount of time. And the problem with this is quite honestly, there will never be a perfect time to start. And I learned this the hard way. The longer we put off the change, the longer we're just going to end up staying exactly where we are, which is not in the best quality of life. And so now being on the other side, still being probably more busy than I ever have been before, it is my passion to share what I've learned to help take the guesswork out for you, give you actionable items, and allow you to actually learn to navigate with ease moving forward. So in this episode, I have my 3 favorite tips that I actually recommend for busy women who feel like they really genuinely don't have enough time to track macros to get results with their body, but they're in a place where they're just like, I've got to do this. I want to try. I want to give this a go. And these 3 tips have been quite truly an absolute game changer, okay? So first and foremost, I think this one's really important when it comes to your macros, especially for women who are perfectionists. I am very much a perfectionist. In the past, I've been a perfectionist to the fault. It is something that I have personally been working on just because nobody is perfect. Life is not perfect. Things happen, right? Unexpected things happen in life, and you have to learn how to navigate those situations, okay? So being flexible with your macros, yes, the goal is to eventually get into a space where you are tracking your macros and hitting those macro goals with ease, even if you are super, super, super busy. But if you just assume that you're going to be able to hit your macros right off the bat with no problem, then you don't actually hit those goals right off the bat with no problem. You are very likely going to feel bad about it. You'll be more likely to give up because you feel like you have failed. And it's going to lead you into the place where maybe not always, but quite often we feel, hey, I'm already off track. Might as well keep going on that, 0 to 100. You're either all in or not. You're now not. You're all 100% not in it. You're going on the binge. You are getting off track and you feel like you're starting over and again and again and again. And now macros don't feel like the right path for you. And it's a bummer when this does happen because you didn't even give yourself a shot. You didn't give yourself the true shot that you could have given yourself. And I have 2 other tips for you to help you through this. So number 1, instead, give yourself flexibility. I apologize. I hope you can hear me. They're doing yard work out there, and I hope you can't hear it too much here. But give yourself flexibility. Instead of making your goal to be perfect, make it to be consistent over time, leading to more and more and more consistency. And what I mean by this is start with 3 days a week, okay? Or 2 days a week. I put the number 2 up, but it can be 3. Start with 2 or 3 days a week. Track your macros, but make sure you're hitting those goals 100% on those 2 or 3 days, wherever you start, okay? Hit those to a T, okay? Then move yourself up. Once you've mastered tracking 3 days a week, bump yourself up to 4 days a week. Once you've mastered that, bump yourself up to 5 days a week. If there's a week where maybe it doesn't hit all 5 of those days, that's okay. You don't need to backtrack. You don't need to beat yourself up. There are times in my life where I don't hit my macros every single day, and that's okay. Yes, I do 95% of the time, and I've also learned how to very comfortably navigate life events, navigate going out to eat, navigate the holidays, navigate potlucks, vacations. I feel very at ease in those situations. However, it didn't happen overnight. And it it wasn't Amazon Prime. I say this all the time, but it was not Amazon Prime. It is and by what I mean by this is, yes, there is a learning curve at the beginning, but you can do it. You can do it. All you need to do is actually start. Okay. Now, my other point for here is, yes, we do start slow, start with those 3 days a week of hitting those macros and work your way up. I do have all of my clients have one free meal. So you can have one day where you have that free meal, and it's not going to feel restricted if you are doing it properly. Okay. My clients are eating pizza. My clients are eating, tacos. My clients are eating burgers. My clients are eating the chocolate, the chips and salsa. They're having all of these things. They're having their cake and eating it too, because they're learning how to actually use their macros to allow them to have the sustainability and to allow them to eat the food that they love. In addition to the nutrient-dense foods, yes, we do want to eat the nutrient-dense foods as well. It's all about moderation. I love to say the 80-20 rule, because you can fit, once you have your proper macros that are 110% customized to you, then you can fit 80% of the food in your macros to those nutrient-dense foods, which can still taste amazing. I, in my mind, actually see a burger as a nutrient-dense meal, because you can do a whole wheat bun. I personally like to get 93.7 for my ground beef, just because I can save my fats for a little bit later. For other things like avocado, add that into your burger if you would like to. That is a wonderful, wonderful fat source. You can add in some lettuce, add in some tomato, add a side salad, and that is a beautifully nutritious meal. Beautifully nutritious. And so that's the thing though. I think so many people consider so many foods bad foods, but they're really not, though. It's just that the diet industry makes us think that they are. Now, there are foods that are going to be a bit less nutrient dense. So if you are having, that burger and you want to add some fries to the side, might not be as full of nutrients, but still, hit that in your macro, hit that in your macros. I don't know what that was supposed to mean. My point is, with this first tip, is take it slow and steady. Don't push yourself to the point where you are stressing yourself out with perfection. It is all about getting consistency and progress, not perfection, okay? I want to interrupt this so lovely podcast episode of mine to let you know about a new program coming very soon. Doors are not open quite yet. However, I want to give you just a hint of the details so you can get your name on the wait list if it does sound like it's something that is up your alley. This program is going to be for beginner macro trackers as well as beautiful peaches who want to support learning to confidently track their macros while navigating life events so they can stop the exhausting weekend start over cycle that is holding them back from losing weight long term and healing their metabolism. You'll be learning how to track food with no nutrition label so you no longer have to be that friend who only orders a side salad with no dressing because she is so scared of getting off track. You'll be learning to navigate potlucks such as family cookouts and holidays so your biggest concern is great Aunt Karen's unsolicited advice on your love life or how to raise your kids, rather than the stress of trying to stay away from the food table all night in fear of getting off track. I'm not going to fully spill all of the beans, but if you want support learning how to master your macros in social settings, get on the wait list to be the first to know when I release the full details for the program. That way, when doors are officially open, you are ready to rock and roll. I will drop the waitlist down below in the show notes for you, so go hop in, and if you have any further questions, feel free to reach out on Instagram, and I am happy to answer those for you. Enjoy the rest of the episode. Number 2, and this one is massively, massively, massively important. Simplify your meals and batch cook. So this is kind of 2 tips in one, and it literally takes me 60 minutes, so 1 hour in an entire week. Okay, 1 hour is all you need. I personally love to have flexibility of eating different foods when I want to. I am not a meal prep kind of gal. If you go to, I think it was the last episode that I did, I talk all about meal prepping. Actually, I talk about meal planning, is what I meant to say. I'm not a meal plan kind of girl, in the sense of eating the same thing every single day. Not my style. And also, when I first started tracking my macros, time was not my friend, as it is not now. However, because I've learned to really navigate things so easily, now it's a little bit easier for me to kind of get it quick. It's a lot more second nature, which it will become for you as well. It just takes a little bit of practice, honestly. And so I'm not a meal prep kind of girl, but when I first started tracking, I liked that, I found that keeping things a little bit more simple was a game changer, okay? While yes, I absolutely freaking love doing recipes. I love to cook. I love complex recipes. And you can very, very much so track your recipes and your macros. There's a whole way of doing that that's pretty streamlined. But if you're just starting out and you really don't have a ton of time, simple can be a little bit easier. And then work your way to those recipes once it's like second nature, okay? And it doesn't have to be boring. I don't mean just to eat chicken and rice all the time. I am not into that. But prep some, I'm going to actually walk you through this. Prep some simple protein, carbs, and fats. So when it does come to, time to actually make that meal, it can be quick and easy, okay? And a pro tip for flavor, I actually have this in my notes because so back when my husband and I lived in Jacksonville, Florida, we would go to St. Augustine sometime for a day trip or sometimes for like a weekend trip. And there was a store called the Tea and Spice Exchange. This is where we first actually found out about it. And then I believe they have a couple other locations. I'm not sure where though. But we found out when we moved from Jacksonville that they ship everywhere. And so it's so much fun. So now we order online, but a very, very pro tip for flavor is get some yummy salts, get some yummy seasoning and add it to your food. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't douse your food in salt, but do a little sprinkle there, right? It's totally fine. You want to have, our bodies actually do need some salt. So it's totally fine to add some seasoning, add some flavor, make it tasty, okay? And then the way that I want to walk you through how to simplify your meals and the way that my husband and I actually go about our prepping for meals without actually meal prepping, if this makes sense, and it will in a second, just 60 minutes a week. This is how we do it, okay? So the first thing that we do is we start by prepping our proteins. And this can be super easy. When you're prepping your proteins, think about all the different ways that you can cook them. So you've got your grill, you've got your oven. If you have an air fryer or a crock pot, use those as well. So for us, we've got all of those. So what we will do is we'll start with our proteins. We will, for example, throw our pork in a crock pot with some yummy salts. You can also add some carrots or other, veggies, potatoes, anything like that in that crock pot if you want to cook that at the same time. We will throw some chicken in the air fryer. We love to do panko crusted chicken. So it takes an extra 5 minutes, but you just crush up, or you can do little breadcrumbs, or you can do bran flakes, which I know sounds weird, but actually tastes really good. Crush those up. Just look up a recipe as well. It's pretty easy, but we like to do that, do a little egg, and then you just rub it on there and put it in the air fryer. It literally takes 5 minutes to prep that. Just make sure you reheat it in the air fryer if you want the crispy chicken finger feel to that. We make our burgers. So we will, again, takes 5 minutes, mix up the spices, make your actual patties, and then pop it on into, if you want to do the oven or the grill. Easy to do it in the oven or a pan. Actually, I don't know why I said oven. I feel like we never really do the oven. A pan or the grill. We often do the grill just because it's a lot easier and you can put a lot more on there. And then if we want to do ground meat instead, rather than doing burgers that week, we like the low sodium taco seasoning. Dump it in, dump a packet in or half a packet, however much you want. I know there's different sizes, and then mix it in with your meat there and have great flavor. Quite truly, this probably takes a max of 10 minutes to get all of those proteins cooking. Yes, obviously it takes time for the protein to cook. So yes, that's going to take time, but you cook yourself food anyway at some point. So spending the time doing this makes it so much easier later on. And while the protein is actually cooking, my husband loves his rice. And I will say, because I've eaten so much chicken and rice in my past where I was bland meal plans, I don't love bland chicken and rice, but I actually have started to enjoy rice again. I do a fancy rice. I think I said this in the last episode, but I'll add all kinds of fun things. I do cocoa aminos instead of soy sauce, but I do cocoa aminos. It's kind of the same flavor there. I'll add some cheese, some basil, some veggies, and kind of toss it and make it a yummy stir fry. But cooking the rice beforehand, so freaking easy. We have a rice cooker, so throw that in there. We buy tortillas and buns weekly. We go for whole wheat tortillas and whole wheat buns. So we have those for burgers and burritos ready to go. If we ever want to make a quesadilla or a wrap, a toasted wrap, we have that ready to go. Then we pre-dice veggies. And also, just to give you some insight there, buying tortillas and buns takes no time at all.
putting the rice in the rice cooker takes literally like 60 seconds. It's so easy. And there you go. You have your carbs that are getting ready. You can do quinoa as well if you would like to do that. I've never done quinoa in the rice cooker. I don't know if that would work, but you would put it in a pan, right? So probably would take you a little more than 60 seconds, but still so easy to get that prepping. And then while those are cooking, I personally like to pre-dice veggies. I use an electric dicer that I got on Amazon just because I honestly think that dicing probably takes me, that actually probably did take me like 20, 25 minutes, but with this electric dicer, it's like 5 minutes, so freaking fast. At this point in the process, it's probably only been 15 minutes, right? All the protein is cooking. We have our quinoa or our rice cooking. We have our carbs cooking. If you want to do pasta, we buy whole wheat pasta. There's the Banza. I don't think it's Bonanza. I think it's Banza. Whatever the pasta is. Anyway, put it on the stove. Those are cooking. And I think the veggie dicer is like $30 or something. I don't even think it's like $30. I think it's like $15. I'll put it on my Amazon storefront once I have that ready. People keep asking me for things. I'm like, I'm just going to create an Amazon storefront and I'll drop it down in the show notes. But quite truly, at this point, your proteins are cooking. And you've spiced and diced them. They're tasting good. You've got the spices there. Your carbs are cooking as well. You've got your veggies diced. You can either leave them plain as they are without cooking them, or you can saute them. So you can go ahead and cook them. And quite truly at this point, I mean, I think that would be like 25 minutes into the process of everything cooking. So to be fair, yes, things do have to sit on the stove. Things do have to sit on the grill. You have to stir the meat, all that stuff, stir the pasta or whatever you're cooking. But when you think about this, it probably takes, truly no longer than 60 minutes to prep all this. Once it's all done, you put it in your Tupperware, you put it in your fridge. When it comes time to grab lunch, you grab your wrap, you put all the fillings in there. You can either put it on and I love to do, like a quesadilla. So either fold it in half and cook it on a pan, or put a second tortilla based on your macros and do a full quesadilla. It's so gosh darn easy. And the thing is, it takes no longer than 60 minutes. There are 168 hours. Was that right? The math? 168 hours in a week. If you take one of those hours to get yourself set up for the week, you're golden. And honestly, you can spare. I think what's important here is I, for so long, was like, I don't have 60 minutes. I can't sit down and do that. But I'm like, you know what? I was spending so much more time trying to figure out what the heck to actually eat, or I would just end up ordering out, right? And even though my fridge was like full of food, and I was like, this is such a money saver trick, a time saver trick. It's just such a game changer. It helps you actually hit those macro goals, okay? And here's the thing too, I walked through, right? Like grab your wrap, throw in the diced veggies, the protein, the sauce, you're ready to go, ready for a burger, right? Literally just reheat that burger, add it to the bun, grab a quick side salad, and you're golden. Like you are good to go. It is so easy. For my husband, I personally work from home. This is my full-time job, coaching. And my husband does not work from home. He works in a hospital. So for him, he likes to, after we are prepping his food, he'll get like 3 days ready and just dump it in a Tupperware and store in the fridge, and he's ready to go. Okay. Now, number 3 here is important because you do want to learn how to stay on track when you do need to be eating out, or when your life is just, when you simply aren't going to be having time to, like maybe you have meetings with clients, you're eating out, maybe situations where you're eating out, okay? I work with a lot of women who travel for work, who are in hotels, long distance flight attendants, telehealth calls all day. This was one that came up actually and was one of my clients, I think last week. But here's my thing. This does not mean that progress simply won't work for you. It just means that you have to learn to navigate those real world scenarios. And the diet industry trains us to think that we need to completely change our life to see results, give up eating out, give up traveling, stick to one set little, boring chicken and rice all day, every day. And yes, with macros, we do want to hit our macro goals if we are going to see results. You can't quote unquote track macros, but actually not track them because you're not hitting your goals. Like you want to learn how to navigate these situations, but it doesn't mean giving up our life, our food. And I get it, because the problem when we give up those things is we feel, number 1, restricted. We can't live our life. Number 2, it gives us either short-term results that don't last, or no results at all. So when you go back to the eating the way that you were before, you lose the results. you find that you're more stressed, you feel like a failure, right? If you travel, then your results are gone. You can't enjoy the weekend. And the thing is, you need something that's going to fit naturally into your life. And that's why macros are so important. We were learning how to actually track them in a way that fits naturally into your life, that's going to be sustainable, that's going to help you navigate those life events, that's going to help you navigate those real world situations, whether you are a busy mom, whether you are a working professional, whether you are all of the above, whether you are, no matter what you're doing, you need to learn how to navigate those situations with ease. And that's why I think it's so important. That's why I have such a passion for teaching all of this, because it's possible. Yes, there is going to be a learning curve, but once you get through that learning curve, it really, you got to take a little bit of effort. Nothing in life comes easy, but it's worth it. It is so gosh darn worth it. So I hope these tips helped. I love these tips. These have been an absolute game changer for me. If you are curious, if you're like, I want to get started, but you don't know where to start, if you DM me the word QUIZ, I have a really awesome quiz that you can take, and it will actually help you learn exactly where to start. It will give you a resource at the end of the quiz based on your metabolism, your goals, what you have and haven't done, and basically your preferences. And it will literally tell you exactly where to start. So all you do, DM me on Instagram, QUIZ, just that word quiz. You can be caps, it can be lowercase, it doesn't matter, just the word quiz, and you can take that quiz. I will not interrupt the quiz. I am in my DMs all the time having conversations, chatting, answering questions. This quiz is set up. I spent a month and a half, 2 months. I spent a long time creating it, and I've set it up so it will take you through the whole entire quiz without me having to mess with it. I have a hard time not responding to people because I get excited, but I will let you take your quiz. I will not bother you. I will let you take your quiz. And then if you have questions for me, then I'm happy to chat through those. So I'm super excited. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, my beautiful peach.